Good afternoon. Thank you and welcome to the webinar. My name is Latasha Bird. I'll be your facilitator today on behalf of Family Star and the Family Network on Disabilities. Today's webinar will encompass little information that you might not have previously known about. And that is what we intend to do for you today. We like to make sure that we bring information to our families in a manner that works for them, and being here virtually works for all parties involved. Today, we're going to talk about assistive technology, how supplemental supports can equal success for your loved one with disability. We are bringing information to you, talking about these different aspects of navigating the process of special education and related services, and also for those families who take care of children who have complex medical needs. Navigating the process does not have to be difficult. We want you to feel comfortable in learning how to navigate that process, understanding that help is there for you in the forms that you might need. And this is one of the ways that we like to reach our families where they are. I've said that before, but it does ring true here with Family Star, which stands for support, training, assistance, and resources. We are bringing our information to you for specifically for fathers, helping them to understand what those applications would look like, eligibility cases, and also if there are special or other circumstances for different populations, and how you'd be able to navigate all of those aspects of the process. And navigating it does not have to be difficult. We'd like for you to take a minute and RSVP for us, should you like to have added resources after today's webinar. And there's a way to get in touch with us should you need more information on the various topics that we speak on, not only today, but in future webinars as well. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about your feelings. Let's talk about asking for help. Let's talk about all of those things that men need to know in order to get the resources that you might need for your loved one, especially those who are caring for loved ones with complex medical needs. We need you to understand that it is okay to not be okay. At Family Network on Disabilities, we are here to help. This is one of the reasons that we strive so hard to bring you the information that you would need and have it in a manner that could work for you. So having these information sessions works not only in the sense that we bring the information to you, but we bring it in a manner that is easily digestible, easy to understand, and there's room for you to contact us should you need more information at the conclusion of these webinars. So today we're going to talk about assistive technology, how it works, what does it look like when you don't have power sources. We're going to have these three principles that you see right here on the screen are going to be broke down a little bit further so that you have more of a resource feel to the webinar. We not only want to give you info, but also show you ways that you can use the information for your current family situation. So we'll talk about DIY, that's do-it-yourself tech, items that require no power source. Remember when we weren't hooked to screens so much. We'll talk about a couple of ways that you could use assistive technology for do-it-yourself with no power source, only using hand and mind power. How about that? We'll also talk about mobile tech, the devices that are easy to carry and can be taken from place to place. And finally, we'll talk about adaptive tech. And those are going to be assistive tools that are modified for use for your loved ones that will help you with modifications and accommodations, those type of things. So at any time, if you would like more information, please utilize the info that is shared on this webinar and on the small flyer that you have that accompanies it. This is how you'd be able to Find out more info at the conclusion of the webinar. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We're talking about assistive technology today. I want to say again, thank you from all of our family PTIs and Family Star here with the Family Network on Disabilities. We're glad that you stopped by. We are a nonprofit 501c3 here in the state of Florida, family driven and family centered, bringing you the information and resources and the support that you might need for your families. Now, we want to have you understand that in doing these informative webinars, we do not act as formal attorneys or doctors or even mental health professionals. The information that you receive in this webinar cannot be deemed as legal nor medical advice. However, we do provide information and resources and support that you would need to make informed decisions for your family. So again, we say thank you and welcome. So the three caveats that we will bring to you today, we spoke a little bit about them at the beginning. DIY tech, do it yourself. That means it has no power source. Mobile tech can be moved from place to place, and adaptive tech. These are the different aspects that we will expand upon a little bit more in the webinar. Let's go ahead and talk about what assistive technology is. What is assistive technology? It's a lot of words. So you will see generally on an IEP or 504 plan, you have sat in on those meetings for your loved one with the acronym AT, that's what it stands for, assistive technology. It's defined in IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, and the same acronym, AT. You'll hear a lot of those today. So we try to make sure that you understand what the acronyms mean and not just say them. So in fair context. So let's say assistive technology, as defined in IDEA, is any item, piece of equipment or product system, whether it's acquired commercially, off the shelf, modified or customized, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of children with disabilities. So there are going to be three particular benefits that we'll have for students with disabilities. You see them right here on the screen. There's independence, leisure, and education. So we want to talk about assistive technology in these three terms. And through the use of assistive technology, students can gain more independence. They can become more involved in the classroom and even beyond. They're able to work more productively. So let's talk about independence. So if with daily living, you can use adaptive dressing services, devices, I mean. How many times have you used a shoehorn to get it to put your shoes on? Well, that's just another idea along the premise of what adaptive technology looks like. It's designed for helping you to be able to put your shoes on, and slips right in the back of your heel and you push your feet down. Didn't even think about it that way, but in that instance, you were using assistive technology. So let's think about what leisure would look like. It's adaptive sporting equipment, modified cutting shears or scissors, and also there's supports that you could use for easels and drawing, pencil grips, all of those different types of things that you may see. Those are different assistive tech items that you could use for leisure. And then think about it in education, having visual aids like audio books or note takers, or even books that had a larger print. So these are going to be a lot of the benefits that assistive technology will bring. Thinking about it this way, it helps to promote the equality for students and allows them to develop in many areas. So there are going to be different levels of assistive technology. You see them here right on the screen. No tech at all, do-it-yourself tech, mobile tech, and adaptive tech. Let's break these down. So when we're talking about having no tech at all, no tech, students are able to learn using the resources that are available to them in the classroom. Now, it's important to understand that the way education is shaped today, many schools, they have computers, they have tablets, they have even calculators that children may be able to use. So the educational environment is able to be accessed without the use of any assistance devices or equipment, not using any of those. What happened to good old pen and paper? We're thinking of what it looks like to not be plugged in. No tech. You're still being able to use those resources that they would need. Now, DIY, we spoke of actually having no power source. It's going to be do it yourself. These are going to be different things such as pencil grips, cups for littles that don't flip or non-spilling, slant boards. We use these a lot when my daughter was learning how to write, slant boards that give her arm and wrist the support that they would need to write her sentences and learn how to hold her pencil correctly and use this type of technology to help her do it herself. So thinking about all of these different ways that you could use DIY without power sources. Let's think of different things that you could use, especially for writing. So you see the shears that you have here, the scissors that are on this representation picture, they have a different kind of handle. So that would be an adaptation and also one of those do-it-yourself types of tech gadgets to use, helping them and assisting in that access for the classroom. Let's think of all the things that we might use ourselves, Post-it notes and highlighters, erasers that are adaptable, even Velcro to keep the pencils from moving around on the board. These are all different types of ways that you could use assistive technology, making them larger, making them smaller, having certain types of manipulatives, but in each instance, they require no power source. This is all do it yourself. They're going to be low-tech devices. They don't require a power source to be used, and they can be made using any of those items right in your home. Let's think about hand grips. We talked about hand grips a little bit earlier. Grips can be used on a lot of different types of items. Hand grips that can be used on pencils. Let's say grips used on spoons. Anything else you might need to hold on to. How about a comb? Having a grip for those. Learning to use those things to be able to grip, and honing on those fine motor skills, all help. These are DIY, they have no power source, but they assist in the items that you are going to be using. Handheld adaptive eating utensils, pencil grips, and even items on your steering wheel to help with maneuvering the car, tennis balls, paper, pen grippers, and even adaptive drinking devices. All of these things that you thought of as just something that you would use are actually adaptive and assistive technology. And if you're thinking about it a little bit out of the box, you just want to use all of those different types of items that will help and aid in access to that independent factor. How about non-slip surfaces? So there could be ways that you would be able to sit down items without them sliding off the board, sliding from a table, or being able to be moved very easily so as to a person would have to reach for them, lean for them, and that type of thing. So non-slip surfaces are another way of DIY assistive tech. Non-slip grips, Post-it notes, portable desks and stands that have been used, also slant boards, and even a non-slip liner have been all effective usages. If you've used any of these, let us know. Excuse me. Put that in the chats and let us know how some of these DIY items have worked for you. And that's not all about spinners either. So let's talk about other ways that you keep your loved one engaged. There's fidget toys. Excuse me. It's not all about spinners. There's also different types of keychains. You see all of these different aspects. They can keep your loved one on task, help them to garner that attention, help them to stay on task by having some type of manipulative in their hand that can keep them in the same realm of either education, independence, leisure, all of those aspects that we spoke of a little bit earlier. These are some of the other DIY, low tech to no tech types of assistive technology pieces that can be used. So with that, let's talk about mobile tech. Excuse me. So let's talk about mobile tech. These are going to be things that will travel with you in your daily life, things that can move from place to place. Handheld devices, we have them. Everyone has some type of device, even if it's a just a regular phone, small tablet, all of these different things that are able to travel with you, moving from place to place. Let's talk about cell phones and tablets. They can provide accessibility and help with your organization. How many times have you written your notes or putting a reminder or some other type of instance where you use that handheld device to tell you and help you in something that you had to do for your day-to-day operation? Well, this can help those who have disabilities in a myriad of ways. They can provide accessibility, help with organization for people who have visual impairments, are deaf and hard of hearing, even those who have challenges with their speech or are nonverbal. There's also help for those who have cognitive disabilities. There's flash alerts, all of these different types of things like closed captioning, even for your telephones, and the same way that you would, in the same manner that you would see on a television. So there's TTY mode, hearing aids, all of these different things that can sync to your handheld device. Thinking of organization, what does your calendar do for you? How about being able to write notes, jot notes in your notepad, or even speak to make a file for audio recordings? These are all different ways that you're able to help with accessibility and organization. It's all about the apps as well. How many apps do you have on your mobile device? Let's see what I have going on here in mine. So there are a lot of different ways that you can add in devices, add in applications that will help in your device. So if you download all of these different things, it's all going to help you again with organization and help those foundations that would lead to independence. We want to use apps that are helping. We want to use those apps that will assist. Remember, this is assistive technology. It's all about the apps. We use these apps that you see here on the right-hand side: Google Drive, Google Calendar, voice to text, and even the app blocks. Not to worry, those are on for Android. Apple can do the same thing. You have to know how to find the apps that will work for the device that you have, and all of these different ways that you can use these apps will inevitably lead to that independence factor. And this is what we are all looking for: independence, accessibility, using these apps in the ways that they are made for, and helping to help in that adaptive factor. So let's talk about adaptive tech. Adaptive tech is going to be a type of AT where existing tools are adapted for use by individuals with disabilities. So some of examples of things that you might see would be using a remote that has been adapted to use, a calendar that actually talks to you, a screen magnifier for either of those devices, text to speech, what we talked about a little bit before. There's alerting devices on them as well, standard power chairs that have not only a power, but a mobile joystick that can help them to move. We talked about having I lost my train of thought, having steering wheels that have adaptive devices on them to help with grips. All of these different ways to use adaptive tech and help to foster that independence for our loved ones who have disabilities. So A couple of the ones that we talked about were screen readers. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So for those who have visual impairments or may be blind and still using, wanting to use these devices, especially uh, surfing the internet, they can typically use this type of technology, and it reads web content that is text-based. It reads it out loud for them. And because these tools, they can't describe the content that isn't text-based, a lot of times if we are providing text descriptions within the context of what our photos look like, or those descriptions for different things that might not have general text under them or generate captions, these are going to be a way that will help by using that screen reader and having those animations and image descriptions for certain animations and images that are on that site. This screen reader can interpret those and pick it up and be able to read out loud what those different aspects would look like. So all the images and icons, they have what is called an alt text. So if that is on, if there is alt text on those images, the screen reader can identify them. And some of the most popular screen readers will include the list you see here. So there's JAWS from Freedom Scientific and Window Eyes from GW Micro. If you've used any of these screen readers or any of these types of assets, please let us know. Let us know how they work for you. We'd love to get feedback from our families. There's also magnification software that's going to increase the size. That hits the word magnify. It's going to increase the size of a particular portion of the given page on the web or on the website. Can be used in conjunction as well with the screen reader. So not only would it read for you, but it also make it larger and easier for you to see. Depending on how big the screen is, I have to move it so you can actually see it, how large the screen is for the device that you are using, it will help to be able to see that image just that much better. So all images need to have a high enough resolution so that once you expand it, you can still see it clearly. It's not very grainy or it loses all those sharp edges. So popular screen magnifiers are Zoom Text from AI Squared and Magic, also from Freedom Scientific. Let's talk about mobility equipment. You see these wheelchairs on the right-hand side of your page. These are going to be what helps in helping those individuals to get around. We're gonna have to be able to get from point A to point B. So sometimes you may need to have equipment that is designed for your mobility in mind. These can be manually operated wheelchairs and also motorized wheelchairs as well. Some have standard joysticks, and for those who would need to use even more assistive technology for their chair, there's different ways that you could use eye gaze, either breath, chin, and power chairs to be able to help in that mobility factor. All of these are different aspects of assistive technology. They are helping to assist in that independence factor. Let's talk about eye gaze communication. Students are able to communicate using their eye movements. Helps with that student-teacher relationship, and especially having them to be accessible, have items accessible for them in that classroom and even beyond. And it also provides a glimpse into the students' inner thoughts. So we talked about all of these different types of things: DIY tech, mobile tech, adaptive tech. Have you used any of those? Let us know. It would be great to have some references from the families that we serve to find out how these things work for you, what worked the best, what didn't work so well. These are all different ways that we want to help. If you are working together or having those items used independently or as a collective, tell us, let us know how they work for you and how these different types of aspects helped your family and worked for the betterment. we'd like to know, are there different things that you could recommend for other families? Family Network on Disabilities is here to help. So we hope that within this webinar today, you were able to find out a couple of different aspects of maybe some things that you may not previously have known, but understanding that the resources are there is our key in helping the families that we serve, and helping to bring that information to you in a way that you are able to understand is the key. So with that, we just want to say thank you. We'll add in an evaluation at the end of this webinar to help us to help you. Give us that feedback and help us to continue with support of your family and your loved ones that have disabilities. So on behalf of all three of our regional PTIs and the Family Start program, for those who care for our loved ones with complex medical needs, we just want to say thank you again for joining us. And you can visit either of our social media channels as well as our website at www.fndusa.org. Should you need to contact the Family Network on Disabilities for any further information, please do not hesitate to give us a call. You can do so at 1-800-825-5736. Again, that number is 1-800-825-5736. So again, thanks so much for joining us here today for Assistive Technology. We hope that you learned a little bit about what those different resources might look like and how they can impact your family and your loved one with complex medical needs. My name is Latasha Bird. I have been your facilitator today. Please take a minute and let us know how we're doing. And we also would like to know how you are doing. Should you need Family Network on Disabilities or the Family Start program for any of those questions that you need answered, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.